Guys, please confirm to me. All of you get my voice on screen. Those are attending in online. Guys, please confirm to me. All of you get my voice on screen. Those who are attending in online. And JVM Prabhakar. JVM Prabhakar. Then please join with ID, sir. Yes, JVM Prabhakar. Guys, and those who are not joined with ID, please, I'm removing now. Please again rejoin with ID. Durgasoft has given some ID numbers to you. Please try to rejoin with ID. Okay. So many times I said to you, Durgasoft has sent one ID to you. With that ID, please uh, try to join with the webinar. Okay. I'm trying to remove you from webinar. Please try to rejoin with the webinar, guys. Okay. Prabhakar, try to rejoin with webinar. Yeah, it's okay then. Then that you have to provide like where there. Prabhakar, then which course you joined there actually? Can you tell me? Or what course there? I think the ID number is something wrong. What was the course you joined there? Acha, servlets and JSP. Nice, nice, nice. Okay, okay. Yeah, no problem. Anyway, then that ID was there. Then try to rejoin. No, just 1 minute. I'm dismissing your account. Now try to rejoin with that ID. First time we have to give that ID number, right? Okay. Then better to use it. Just I'll wait for you. No problem. Try to rejoin. నిన్న మొన్న వీడియోస్ అప్లోడ్ చేయలేదా guys? I think so videos are uploaded. Please check once. Amaheshwarav, already videos are uploaded. I think so. Now please check once. All right. Good morning, guys. And check it what we completed in the last session. Right, sir. And yesterday, day before yesterday, videos are not uploaded. Uploaded or not? Not uploaded. Right, sir. And people are saying to me, uploaded. Some people not possible to view now. It may take some time, I think so. Right, sir. Anyway, so let's come for the content. All right, sir. And check the content, what we completed there in the last session. I think so. We are discussing about servlets design. In that servlets design, tell me, guys, overall, how many approaches are available to prepare servlets? No, overall, how many approaches are available to prepare these servlets? No, three approaches are available. What are the three ways to prepare servlets now? First one is implementing servlet interface, and the second one is what there extending generic servlet, and the third one is what there extending HTTP servlet. Okay, already we completed implementing servlet interface. In implementing servlet interface, what we have done there, just we have taken one user defined class. That user defined class is implementing servlet interface. In that user defined class, we must implement all methods of servlet interface. But actually, our required method is what the service method. Because of one service method, we are implementing servlet interface, and we are providing implementation for all the methods of the servlet interface is a burdenful thing for the developers. Moreover, unnecessary methods are increased in the servlets. To overcome this problem, we have to go with what their generic servlet. Right, sir. That is a drawback with our first approach. No, to overcome that, we have to go with generic servlet. Servlets designed by using generic servlet. Then what is the generic servlet actually? Generic servlet is provided by the servlet API in the form of Java x.servlet.generic servlet or Jakarta.servlet.generic servlet. Okay, fine. This is an abstract class basically. Understand this now. Generic servlet is an abstract class, and it is an implementation abstract class to the servlet interface. It has provided all the servlet interface methods implementation except one method there, no service method. Actually, now tell me in general, who has to implement the service method? Who has to provide implementation for service method? Developers have to provide implementation. Why? Because in that service method only we are going to keep our logic. So that's why a generic servlet left service method as an abstract method to give an option for the developers to provide their own implementation. See, I set you number of times. Normal class, subclass, overriding superclass method with subclass methods. So here overriding is becoming as an optional, not mandatory. Abstract class, abstract method, subclass. In this case, mandatory for subclass to implement what their abstract method. Now, generic servlet made the implementation of service method is mandatory or not? That too, that must be provided by whom? Developer in the subclasses now. So because of that reason, still service method is what there is an abstract method that must be implemented by the developers in the subclasses now. Right, sir. In generic servlet abstract class, still Service method is an abstract method that must be implemented by the developers as per their application requirements in the subclasses of generic servlet abstract class. That's the point I'm telling there. Next one is, this is an important point. Generic servlet is an idea that came from adapter design pattern. From which design pattern it is coming there? No, adapter design pattern. Right, sir. Now I want to discuss a little bit about this adapter design pattern, how this generic servlet is coming from this adapter design pattern. Let's have some story about this particular topic. All of you observe carefully. I want to give some information. First, let us see what is the meaning of this adapter design pattern as per our context. See this. For example, for example, for example, in a Java program, I have an interface. As per the requirement, I have declared an interface I. Inside this interface I, as per the requirement, I have to declare 50 number of methods, more number of methods. Say for example, void M1 method, void M2 method, and so on and so on and so on. Void 50 method. Nearly 50 number of methods are declared inside the interface. Yes, sir, got it or not? 50 number of methods are declared inside the interface. Observe carefully. Then after that, after completion of this, what next one here? As per the requirement, I have to declare 10 classes, 10 implementation classes here. I want to declare. That's my requirement here. Right, sir. 10 implementation classes here. I have to declare. Now, class C1. Then here I have to write like what there implements I. Now tell me, you only tell me when I implement I interface, overall, how many methods here we must implement? No, when I implement I interface, how many methods we must implement in the class C1? All 50 methods we must implement or not? Observe carefully. Now here in a class C1 requirement is not all the methods of 50. Out of these 50 number of methods, only one method I want to implement. Out of 50 number of methods, how many methods here I want to implement there? Only one method here I want to implement. That's my requirement. Okay, now here what I'm telling now, in this case now, void M1 method is required. So that's why here I'm providing implementation for this method, M1 method. Got it or not? Void M1 method that is required, that implementation is provided here now. Observe carefully. Next one is remaining methods implementation I don't require really. I don't need the remaining methods implementation, but as I'm implementing I interface now, I must provide implementation for all 50 number of methods. As per that condition, M1 method really I required that I implemented. Remaining methods implementation I don't require, but really we don't require that remaining methods implementation. But even though I need to provide implementation for all the remaining 49 number of methods, at least with empty implementation, just open and close to satisfy the condition of implementing interface in the implementation classes and providing implementation for all methods. To satisfy this condition, I must provide implementation for all the remaining methods like open and close like this. And so on. Here we need to provide void M50 like this. Just open and close. What method we require really that we can implement, no issues. What method we require really that we can implement, but remaining methods also here we are implementing. Remaining methods also here we are implementing. Observe carefully. Now here, similarly, how many classes here I have to write now? 10 number of classes here I have to write. How many classes here we have to write there? 10 number of classes here we have to write. Now I want to write like what there? Class C2. Class C2. Next one is like what there? Implements I. Now this time inside this I required void M1 method I don't require. I required only empty implementation for it. but I required void 2, void m2 method is required. Now I want to provide my own implementation. But remaining methods here we have to write like what there, just open and close only m of 50 number of methods. Observe carefully, all of you, what I am telling to you. Getting clarity or not? Right, sir. Now this is like exactly C2, right, sir? And so on and so on and so on. How many classes can I want to prepare there? 10 number of classes can I want to prepare as per my requirement. 10 classes here I need to prepare. Right. Inside these 10 classes. Now this is like what I'm telling there, C10. Now this time, not M1 method. Now get I require to implement M10 method. M10 method. Here I need to implement. All remaining methods are unnecessary for me as of now. Don't require to provide implementation for all the methods. But my implementation classes requirement, no, only one method is required at each and every implementation class. We don't require remaining 49 number of methods, but forcibly we are providing implementation for the remaining 49 number of methods since we implemented I interface in the implementation classes. Yes, all of you are getting clarity up to know. All of you are getting clarity up to know what I have done there. Right. Now I'm asking one straight question to all of you guys. Now try to answer for it. Out of all the, okay, now tell me, at each and every implementation class, how many number of methods are necessary methods and how many number of methods are unnecessary methods? No. At each and every implementation class, how many number of methods are unnecessary methods? No. 49 number of methods are unnecessary. Only one method is necessary. Got it or not? Like this, in this overall system, in this overall program, how many methods are unnecessary and how many methods are necessary? 10 methods are necessary. All 490 number of methods, 490 number of methods are unnecessary or not? But writing these many unnecessary number of methods is not good enough, is not the right thing in our applications now. Is not suggestible. Automatically, unnecessary developers are writing methods, automatically burden will be increased to the developers. Moreover, unnecessary methods, useless methods are increased in our Java applications. So this is not at all suggestible in our Java applications. This is a problem. Basically, this is a problem. This problem is nothing but design problem. See, syntactically no mistake is available. Even if I compile the program, I can execute the program. There we are able to get outputs directly. But the problem is what there? Design problem. Design problem is what there? It may take more code and it may take more memory. It may take more execution time. So as you are the good programmer or good developer, we have to write applications within less memory execution, within less time, and with a less number of instructions. The three things here we have to consider as you are the good programmer. Now here unnecessarily we have written 409 number of methods now. So definitely as you are the good programmer, definitely we have to think about it, how to avoid all the 409 number of methods from this total application. Right or not? Exactly. In this particular design pattern, in this particular design problem, one solution was provided by one of the design pattern. Then for Java, nearly 35 to 40 number of design patterns are existed overall. Out of them, one design pattern has addressed this particular issue. One design pattern has provided a solution for this particular issue. That design pattern is called as what there? Adapter design pattern. The design pattern is what there? Adapter design pattern. All right, sir. Good. The design pattern is what there? Adapter design pattern. Now, what adapter design pattern has given solution now? What exactly adapter design pattern has given solution for us? Now, see this now. Adapter design pattern has given a solution. Try to declare one mediator class between interface and implementation classes. Right, so now try to declare one mediator class between interface and implementation classes. Now, okay, I'm trying to declare a class M. M stands for mediator, middle class between interface and all the implementation classes. Clear? Then not only that, what it is saying there, try to implement that interface in the mediator class. Try to implement that interface in the mediator class. Whenever we have written implements I, automatically what mandatory condition is coming now? Whenever we have written implements I, automatically one mandatory condition is coming for us. What is that mandatory condition is coming for us? No, must implement all the methods of I interface now. Then what that design pattern is suggesting for us now, try to provide just a empty implementation for each and every method. Don't provide your actual application logic inside this. Just provide whatever empty implementation. Just open and close for each and every method. Void M1 method, just open and close. Okay, and so on and so on and so on. Now here void M25 method, just open and close. Don't provide your real implementation. Again and again I'm telling that, don't provide your real business logic here. Just we can provide only empty implementation for each and every method. Just empty implementation, open and closed. Got it or not? Now this is exactly like what their mediator class that we have taken now. Now this class is proposed by adapter design pattern. Adapter design pattern has given this solution. Okay, now we have taken this mediator class, which is directly implementation of the I interface. Before this, you have to remember one point. I said already, but again I'm telling there. Normal class, subclass. Overriding superclass method with a subclass method. So here overriding is optional. In the case of normal classes, overriding normal method with some other method is optional, not giving it as a mandatory. Abstract class, abstract methods, subclass. Then subclass must override abstract methods. Now it is a mandatory. Interface, purely abstract methods. Implementation class. Now it is mandatory to override what are that? These methods. Understand the intensity, that means the density of that overriding now. In the case of normal class and subclass, optionally, it is optional to override superclass method with the subclass method. In the case of abstract class, abstract method and subclass, no, subclasses must override abstract method. Interface, implementation class, implementation classes must override what there, that interface methods. Got it or not? Now here what happened there, C1 implements I in the sense must to provide implementation for all methods of I. Here also C2 implements I in the sense must implement all methods of what there I interface irrespective of your like requirement, actual requirement. Got it or not? Now here mandatory condition is available for C1 to implement all methods now. From this, because of that mandatory condition only, all 50 number of methods can be implemented. Because of this mandatory condition only, all 50 number of methods are implemented. That's a problem here. Now what I'm trying to do, I'm trying to make that mandatory condition to optional. Overriding methods, if I made it is from a mandatory condition to optional, then developer can override the methods as per their interest. Get my point or not? Then when it is possible to convert mandatory condition to optional case of overriding superclass members with subclass members, no? When it is possible to convert mandatory condition to optional case, whenever we are converting from implementing an interface to extending a class, extending a normal class, then automatically we can convert that mandatory condition to optional case. No? It is mandatory. That's why we are implementing that. If it is optional, developer may not override all the methods. He may go for only one method, required method there. So now that's why what I'm telling there, in the implementation classes, wherever implements I is available, simply remove that. In place of that, we have to write like what there, extends mediator class. In place of implementing I interface, there we have to do what there, extends a mediator class. When we extend that mediator class, what method you required, just what method you required, implement up to that method only, remaining methods not required to write. Now in my C1 class, I can remove the remaining 49 number of methods or not? Remaining 49 number of methods I can remove or not? Only one method is required, that method here I'm trying to implement. Yes sir, got it or not? Okay, fine. Now coming to the C2 now, here also what we have there, implements I is available. Just remove that implements I. In place of that implements I, what we have to write there? Simply we have to write what there? Extends M. Extends M. Then what we have to do there now, inside this now, right, unnecessary methods we can remove, necessary method only we can implement. So M1 method is not required, remove this. Remaining 49 number of methods overall are not required, just remove this. only one method is required. What is that method actually? M2 method that we have to maintain. Right, sir. The same process we have to apply at each and every implementation class now. Here also, instead of implementing I, just we have to write like what there extends M. Here I required only M10 method. I don't require other methods now. Just simply here what I am telling there, remove these methods here. Whatever the methods here I have written there, remove all these methods here like this. Just only I require to provide only one method, that is M10 method that we can implement. This is a little bit solution here we provided. Now tell me guys, all of you now tell me, in the implementation classes, how many methods here we have written? In this case now, all the implementation classes, how many methods we have written now? 10 methods max. Why? Because at each and every class one method, right? At each and every class one method, required method we have written. All the unnecessary methods we removed or not? All the unnecessary methods we removed or not? So at each and every class 49 number of methods are removed. In the overall system, in the overall application, out of these 10 implementation classes, 490 number of methods we removed or not? Automatically burden is reduced to the developer or not? Automatically number of unnecessary methods are removed or reduced in our application or not? Right, sir. Now this is what adapter design pattern has given a solution for us. Not completely. Now still few more points are available. Now I need to talk about them. But basically this is the main solution what adapter design pattern has given for us. Clear to all of you? Then after that, after completion of this, what next one? What next one here? I'm telling it. Now try to understand this clearly. After completion of this particular point here, after understanding this particular point, adapter design pattern has given some suggestions. No, just a suggestions only, not mandatory. But up to this is mandatory. But adapter design pattern has given some suggestions. What suggestions it has given there now? Point number 1. Now in this overall system, in which classes developers have provided their application logic, their business logic, in which classes they have provided? No, come on, developers are implementing their actual logic in which classes? No, is it in mediator class or in a C1, C2 and so on, C10 classes? C1, C2 and C10 classes. In this class only the actual business logic is available. So because of that reason, developers are supposed to create objects for which classes? No, they're supposed to create objects for which classes? No, C1, C2 and so on, C10. They're not supposed to create objects for which class? No, mediator class. They should not create objects for mediator class. They must create objects for what? There, that C1, C2 and so on, C10 classes. No. So here what design pattern is giving information there, you must avoid the object creation process for a mediator class. You must allow all the developers to create objects for what? Their implementation classes. So to avoid object creation for the mediator class, what adapter design pattern has given solution there? Now tell me, class, abstract class and interface, to which we are able to create objects? No, come on, class, abstract class and interface, to which we are able to create objects directly for classes, to which we are unable to create objects? No, abstract classes and interfaces now. So anyway, abstract class option is available. If you want to avoid the object creation process for any entity, then try to declare that entity as what? There, an abstract class. Now the mediator class is acting as what? Now the mediator class is acting as what? It must be abstract class. Now this is a suggestion. This is a suggestion was provided by adapter design pattern. All of you observe carefully. In adapter, okay, in the mediator class, the mediator class must be what class there? Abstract class. For what purpose? No, for what purpose that mediator class is an abstract class? No, to avoid the object creation process for the mediator class. Why? Because where our actual business logic is not existed, just it is a helper class for us, that which helps us to avoid unnecessary methods implementation while implementing interfaces. So developers are not supposed to create objects for the mediator classes. Developers must create objects for what? Their implementation classes. So to avoid the option of creating objects for this particular mediator class, adapter design pattern said to us, try to declare that mediator class as what? Their adapter, that means abstract class. But still no method is an abstract method. No method is an abstract method. Now I can have a question now. Now my question is it possible to write an abstract class without the abstract methods? Is it possible to write an abstract class without the abstract methods? Yes, it is possible. To declare a class as an abstract class, it is not mandatory to have at least one abstract method. But if you want to declare a method as an abstract method, then the respective class must be abstract class. Observe this point, everybody. Right, sir. Now here it is not mandatory. Like no abstract method is available here. Okay, that's fine. Up to that, it's okay. The solution is available. But one more suggestion. One more suggestion. What is the suggestion here? I'm telling there. All of you observe carefully. That suggestion would be like what there. Right, sir. Observe carefully, guys. What is that suggestion here? I'm telling to you. For example, understand the situation. For example, if any method of this interface is mandatory to implement at each and every implementation class with variable implementation. Come again, what's the condition I set you? If any method is mandatory to implement at each and every implementation class with variable implementation. Variable implementation in the sense, in a C1 class, one X implementation. In a C2 class, some Y implementation, and so on. In a C10 class, some Z implementation. But method name is same. Method is same, method name is same, but that implementation is totally depending on what implementation class requirement. If we have any such type of method, if we have any such type of situation, then try to declare that method in the mediator class as an abstract method. Try to declare that method as what there, an abstract method in the mediator class. Again, I'm telling that this is only suggestion. If any method is required to implement at each and every implementation class, and if it is having variable implementation depending on the implementation classes, then it is suggestible to declare that method as an abstract method in the abstract class, in the mediator class. I want to think that M25 method is like that. I'm thinking that M25 method is like that. Now here I need to go for what there? Abstract void M1 method, void M25 method. But here, once we provided this abstract method, what is not required here? What is not required? If we declare M25 method is an abstract method, what is not required? Body is required or not required? Body is not required. Remove that. Then what is required to provide? If we remove body, if we remove body, what is required to provide? Semicolon. Here we have to provide. Semicolon. Here we have to provide. Yes, sir. Got it or not? So this is abstract void M25. Abstract void M25. That's semicolon. Here we provided clearly. That's clear to all of you know? Alright, sir. Whenever this method is an abstract method, then automatically one mandatory condition is coming to us. What is that mandatory condition there? Once this method is an abstract method, one mandatory condition is coming. What is that mandatory condition? No, it must be implemented at each and every implementation class now. Then immediately here we are thinking about it. Just let me remove all these unnecessary methods here, not required now. Out of all these things, then what I required here, in place of this, I need to provide implementation for what method here now? Void M25th method. Here we want to provide some implementation, different implementation, as I said to you clearly. Right, sir. For our clarity purpose, I am telling some X implementation. Okay, now similarly, what I am telling there, in the case of this C2 class also, M1 method is not required. Just you can remove this. Only M2 method is required. Then remaining methods also be not required. Unnecessary methods, no. Now get in place of these, I want to provide like what there. Again, M25th method, but here that implementation is what there by implementation, for example. Similarly, now in same thing is going on in the case of right C10 class. Inside this, here we should not provide implementation for all of them. Just we removed already. Now let me remove them. Right now here we have to provide word M10. Now here what we have to provide there now. Right, void M25. Now here we need to provide something else like what there Z implementation clearly. Yes, are you getting it or not? All right, now in this scenario, in this overall scenario, the mediator class what we implemented, the mediator class what we provided. The mediator class, what we provided between interface and implementation class. Now, this mediator class is called as adapter class. This mediator class is called as what there? Adapter class. This adapter class is having another name that is what there? Generic class. This adapter class is also be having another name that is what there? Generic class. Don't think about our collections and generics. That is totally different. This is a general terminology. In general terminology, that is what the generic. That's it. Don't think about it. The collection framework and Angular basis on generic types. No, that's a different case. Now is a general terminology. In general, the terminology is available like what there? Adapter class, or we can call it as what there? A generic class. That's it. Yes, sir. All of you are getting it or not? All right, sir. Right, sir. That's okay, fine. Nice. And people are catching one of the error here. EMO50. Okay, right, sir. Arey yaar, printing mistakes are going on occasionally. You have to adjust for it. Pin to pin, you are checking my errors now. I will check your errors also. Next Sunday, mock interviews for everybody. Come for it. There I can see your performance. Not like that. And by the way, I'm telling to you, right, come to this conclusion now. Almost all we are at the ending point of this design pattern. Now come for this conclusion. So the mediator class is acting as like what there? Adapter class. Now here, in other words, what is another class here we are giving there? No, generic class. Got it or not? This is overall information about like what there adapter design pattern. Basic awareness here are given. Yes, all of you clear about this? All of you are clear about this? Got it or not? Right, sir. Now, one small information, guys. Then schedules are given there, right? Saturday and Sunday schedule are given there, right? What I given Saturday and Sunday schedule are given already, right? How much time I need to take there on Saturday? Saturday, no. On Sunday, on Saturday, not 7 to 9. I think so. 3 hours class I'm planning there. At least 2.5 hour class I'm planning there, right? So where the small change is what? On Saturday I may not be available. Only Saturday. But on Sunday I will take the session, sure. Actually, then Max I'll try to come here, but that is not in my hands actually. Right, sir? That depends. Depends in the sense, expect it, what's going to be happen, right? Not any girlfriend, sir. I'm giving clarity now. Then we are very much professional, a single family man, right? So no, don't think much about it. But on Saturday, just leave us. Why? Because then some plans. Still, that what are the plans? I mean, I don't know as of now. Maybe decided in the future. But that day is a gap. Saturday is a gap, but again Sunday we will rock. Definitely we'll have long session on Sunday. How much time I'm going to take on Sunday in the sense, I'll give intimation there, but both the class I'm going to take. Both servlets and JSPs and as well as what there, Spring. Both the classes I'm planning there. But Saturday is a gap. Please remember this. I think some of you are feeling very happy now. Saturday already they have a plan to jump from Hyderabad, leave from Hyderabad. Anyway, leave it anyway. It's not the case, no. Now let's come for the content, guys. What I'm telling there. All right. Now let's move on to the point here. Let's move on to the point. Now try to understand it. Now observe carefully. This adapter design pattern here we understood. Adapter design pattern here we understood. Clear? Clear to all of you? Now let's understand this. I want to relate our exact generic servlet topic into this one. Now try to understand it. This migration is important. Everybody put more concentration. Listen carefully. Right? Yes, sir. Our discussion is going on there. Think you're planning immediately, right? Saturday planning. With one girlfriend or two girlfriends? No? Where are two, sir? No? One girlfriend maintenance is too much costly, right? Second girlfriend is not problem, right? Try to maintain 1 JVM, not to maintain more than 1 JVM. Remote system may be blaster. Come for our content here. Let's come for it. Important point. The total topic you understood clearly. The last conclusion I'm waiting for the last 3 minutes of time, but you are not ready to accept it. All of you okay? Serious, just 2 minutes of time. Serious about it. Conclusion. I'm telling there almost all conclusion. Right? Everybody understand it. What is our actual problem with the servlet? No, servlet interface. No, implementing servlet interface is a problem. Why? Because inside the servlet interface, 5 methods are available. At each and every servlet class, we have to implement how many methods? No, all 5 methods. No. Let me take another diagram here so that we are able to get much clarity. See, all of you observe carefully. Now, here I am telling to you, this is a servlet interface. Observe careful. I'm trying to relate this content here. This is what the servlet interface. Interface servlet. Where how many methods are available? Init method is available. Next one is what there? Service method is available. Next one is get servlet config method is available. Then after that, get servlet info method is available. Then what next one here? Destroy method is existed. These methods are available. This is servlet interface. Got it or not? Now tell me here, for example, I have taken like what there. This is my servlet one. My servlet one implements what we have written there, servlet interface. Implement servlet interface. Then immediately what we have to do here, we must implement all 5 methods or not. Now let me implement all 5 methods. No, init method, just open and close it. Next one is what there, service method, just open and close it. Next one is what there, our actual implementation is provided where? Here only, we provide our actual implementation, right? That's nice. Next one is what there, get a servlet config method. Okay, just open and close it and return some null value, whatever it may be. Get a servlet, what next one can know? Info method. Here also be open and close it and return some value can. Last method, what is this last method can know? Destroy method is existed. So finally here we provided this implementation or not? Observe carefully. All of you observe carefully. Like this, how many servlet classes can I want to prepare there? As many as you require. I want to create multiple servlet classes now. Now this is like what there? Servlet 2. My servlet 2 implements the same thing. Observe carefully. Here common at each and every servlet class, what method is required to implement? No, service method. Please remember that point here. Okay, like this, for example, I want to implement like what there? 10 servlet classes. 10 servlet classes here I want to implement. That's my requirement. Right, sir. At each and every servlet class now, one method is commonly implemented. What method we implemented commonly? Service method. Please recognize this point clearly. Right, sir. Now this is my structure. Now tell me, out of this overall 10 number of servlets. Okay, now here I need to provide 10 now. Servlet 10, I have to provide this. Okay, 1 minute. Right, sir. Now okay, let me provide 10 servlet 10 now. Right, sir. Now tell me, out of all this, out of this total implementation here, how many methods we have written unnecessarily in this overall 10 servlets now? How many methods we written unnecessarily? 4 methods at each and every servlet class, 10 classes, 40 number of methods unnecessary or not? Only service method is required at each and every implementation class now. But as we implement this servlet interface, we must override all the methods here. Even in the case of destroy method also I have not provided implementation part, right? It's a mistake only. Don't think about it. I have to provide implementation for it. Semicolon we have to remove there anyway. Right, sir. I think I have not given that implementation part. Yeah, we have tried it. Okay, fine. Now, observe carefully, all of you, what I am giving now. Right, sir. So this is exactly the point what I am telling there. The situation to talk about what the adapter design pattern in this scenario. It has given that situation for us to talk about what their adapter design pattern. Observe carefully. So 40 number of unnecessary methods are implemented here now. So this is unnecessary in our servlet application. Exactly there, adapter design pattern is coming into the picture. It has given a solution. The servlet API has used adapter design pattern to provide solution for it. What that adapter design pattern has given a solution here, that solution would be like what there. Try to define one mediator class. I think Servlet API has prepared one mediator class, predefined class. It has prepared there. Now that mediator class must implements what there, servlet interface. Inside this, it has provided implementation for all methods or not. It has provided implementation for what there, all methods. Say for example, void init method implemented. Void init method implemented. Can observe carefully, just open and close it. Next, as per the adapter design pattern, one method implementation is required at each and every implementation class, but that is a variable implementation. So still that method must be declared as what their abstract method. That method must be declared as what their abstract method. Public void service method. Of course, some parameters are available. Now to think about it clearly now. So just it is like what their abstract method, semicolon. Next one is what their remaining two methods, like what their get servlet config method is existed, just open and closed, comma get servlet info method is also be existed. Now here also be just open and closed. Then apart from this, one more method is required here. What is this method, sir? Now tell me, comma destroy method. All three methods are provided implementation or not? Observe carefully what I am telling there. Now this is like what the mediator class that is provided now. Right, sir. Now not supposed to create objects for mediator class. Am I right or not? Supposed to create objects for what class there? No, all the implementation classes. No. So this mediator class must be declared as what there? Abstract class. No. Right, sir. Still one method is abstract method here. Why? Because that must be implemented by all the implementation class vendors. Okay, fine. Now this is an abstract class. Tell me, guys, all of you now tell me, this class is treated as, this class is treated as what there? What class there? Now tell me. What is that class? You know, adapter class. Am I right or not? What is another name for this adapter class? No. What is another name for this adapter class? No. Generic class. Another name for this class is what there? Generic class. Am I right or not? All right. Observe carefully. Class M, not only class M, any class which implements servlet interface. Any class which implements servlet interface, then it is called a servlet class or not? If any class is implementing servlet interface, then the class is servlet class or not? Come on, that class is what there? Servlet class. So here we can write it as what there? A servlet class. That M class is what there? A servlet class. Got it or not? That class is an adapter class, generic class, and that class is what there? Servlet class. Am I right or not? Just what I am telling there, try to separate this generic and servlet from here. Try to separate generic and servlet from here and try to attach these two. Now we are getting what there? Generic servlet. Which class is generic servlet? No. Which class is generic servlet? No. Now the name I want to change. No. I want to remove this. Now that mediator class is called as like what there is a generic servlet. The name officially was provided by Servlet API is like what there? Abstract class generic servlet implement servlet interface. That is a way to introduce like what there? This generic servlet, it is available. When this generic servlet is available, then immediately what is the solution was provided here? Previously we prepared servlets directly by implementing servlet interface or not? Then immediately what we have to do? Come on, at each and every servlet class, what we have to do? Just in place of this implement servlet interface, there we have to write like what there? Extends what there? Extends generic servlet. Am I right or not? Extend generic servlet. When we extend this generic servlet, what methods implementation here we have to provide? What methods implementation here we have to provide? Only service method implementation. Remaining methods are not required or not? Yes, service method implementation only here we provided. Similarly, in the case of this implement servlet interface now, in place of that, what we have to write there? Simply, we have to write what there? Extends generic servlet. Extends generic servlet. Immediately, one condition is coming. What is that condition there? Override only service method, not to override remaining methods now. Not required to provide implementation for remaining methods. It's optional. Depends on our requirement, we can overwrite. That's it, not mandatory. Similarly, in case of the servlet 10 also, you're not required to write like what there implements. Now here we need to write like what there extends generic servlet. Extends what there generic servlet. Extends generic servlet that we have to write. All right, so now here also be what methods are unnecessary methods there, init methods, remaining methods are unnecessary. All right, so then only one method is required. That method here we have to implement. Finally, here we are getting solution or not? All right, sir, we are getting solution or not? All right, sir. This is exactly the meaning of like what there generic servlet introduction particle. So now tell me overall. Now tell me generic servlet is an idea came from adaptive design pattern or not? Generic servlet is an idea came from adaptive design pattern or not? So that's the reason why here we are getting this particular content here now. So this is a diagram here I want to keep here. Right, still adaptive design pattern diagram if you want to have there. Now this is a diagram here I've given. Okay, now this is for the sake of you. I'm giving the second diagram, not because of this now here, but still we need to talk about this particular one here. So finally, generic servlet is an idea came from adaptive design pattern. So both the points here are given there. Leave this one. After completion of this, that's clear. This point is clear. Finally, we understood that. In the future also, when interviewer is asking a question to you, tell me something about adaptive design pattern. Happily, we can take this situation as an example for what there adaptive design pattern. There we can explain the content now. Okay, right, sir. Leave this one. After completion of this total content here, after understanding this total part, now how we are going to prepare servlets in generic servlets. How it is possible to prepare servlets by using what their generic servlets. And now see this one more point. Before this one more point here I'm telling there. All right, sir. In generic servlet, still service method is what there an abstract method that must be implemented by. Okay, fine. Next one is another point here. What I'm telling to you here, I'm telling there in generic servlet. In a generic servlet, init method is overloaded. Init method is overloaded. Right. Generic servlet has provided the following two init methods. The following two init methods in the generic servlet. Generic servlet init method is overloaded. Generic servlets init method is overloaded. Generic servlet has provided the following two init methods. What are the two init methods now? Public void init of servlet config. Servlet config throws servlet exception. Throws a servlet exception. Then after that, another method, public void init method. Just open and close it. Right or not? Two init methods are provided now. All right, sir. Now, fortunately, second init method is called from where? First init method. Second init method is called from where? First init method. Second init method is called from where? First init method. So why this second init method is available there? Understand it now. In the first init method, what is available, sir? Now tell me. Parameter. What is that parameter there in the first init method? Servlet config. That means servlet config object contains some sensitive data or not? All the configuration details of the servlet is available or not? Somewhat sensitive data or not? If you override that init method, in the sense, there may be a chance to disrupt that sensitive data or not? There may be a chance to might be disrupt the data or not? That's why generic servlet has given another init method to overwrite or to perform some activities while servlet initialization. Generic servlet has given another init method. Now try to override the second init method. It is also be called from what there? Servlet initialization. Whatever the things we want to achieve with the first init method, same thing we can achieve with what their second init method. Where no parameter is available, we can override as per our requirement. Yes, clear to all of you know. So this is what Servlet API has given. That means what Servlet people have given an option for the developers. Got it or not? So the point is what that generic servlets init method is overloaded. Generic servlet has provided the following two init methods. Now in the above two init methods, it is suggestible. It is suggestible to overwrite. It is suggestible to overwrite init method. It is suggestible to override init method. In the above two init methods, it is suggestible to override second init method. Second init method, which it doesn't have any parameter. Okay, why? Because not okay. Then why it is the case? Suggestible to override second init method, not first init method. Not first init method. Not first init method. Why? Because first init method has a servlet config as a parameter, as a servlet config. So first init method has servlet config parameter. It contains some sensitive data of the servlet configuration. Sensitive data of the servlet configuration. That's enough. Because of that reason, always it is suggested to override which method can know second init method. Clear or not? That's it. Fine. So this is another method here we can understand inside the generic servlet. Now I want to go with what they're implementing, like what their generic servlet. How we are going to implement this one. So to prepare servlets by using generic servlet, we have to declare an user defined class. We have to declare what there an user defined class. That we have to declare an user defined class, and we must extend generic servlet abstract class in the user defined class. All right, sir. Now see this one. I'm going to provide the total part here. First of all, let me talk about the implementation of generic servlet abstract class. Then after that, we are going to implement that. Public abstract class generic servlet implements servlet interface, comma. Not only servlet interface, few more interfaces are implemented inside the generic servlet. Another one is like what there, servlet config. Servlet config is also an interface now, that is also implemented in the generic servlet now, comma serializable. Right, sir. Overall, three interfaces are implementing generic servlet. What are the three interfaces now? Tell me. First one is what there, servlet. Second one is what there, servlet config. Third one is what there, serializable. Okay, right, sir. Now inside these, what methods are available here? As I said to you, one more point I'm telling there. Protected, not protected, no, private transient servlet config. Private transient servlet config. Right, sir. What is this declaration actually? Private transient servlet config. Observe carefully. Now all of you observe carefully. Generic servlet is an abstract class which implements serializable or not. Means that subclasses of generic servlet are eligible for serialization or not? Come on. If we implement the serializable interface at superclass, all subclass objects are eligible for serialization or not? Yes, definitely. All the subclasses of superclass are implementing are eligible for what their serialization. Okay. In the object serialization, I want to block one variable serialization. In objective serialization, I want to block one variable serialization. If we want to block one variable serialization, there we have to declare that variable as what their transient variable. There we have to declare that variable as what their transient variable. Observe carefully. So, servlet config object is a sensitive object which contains some sensitive data. So, we don't want to allow that object for serialization. The servlet config object we don't want to be allowed to what their serialization. That's my requirement here. So because of that reason, that servlet config reference variable will be declared as what their transient. Entire generic servlet object we can serialize, but one variable is not participated in the serialization. That variable is what their servlet config reference variable. That's not going to be participated in the serialization. That's why the config reference variable is declared as what their transient. Okay, now this is one point. Next one is after that public void init method servlet config throws servlet exception Now inside this body another init method is called. Of course, some implementation is available here. Apart from this, another init method is called. Then inside this, what we are able to get there, public void init method. Public void init method is available. That's it now. This is a story about like what their init method. Next one after that, public abstract void service of servlet request comma servlet response throws servlet exception comma IO exception semicolon. Right, sir. Next one here, what we are getting there now, this is an abstract method. This method is what there, an abstract method. Try to understand this clearly. Then after that, public servlet config get a servlet config method. Now here, what happened there now inside this return config. Already config object is available or not? Is created already in the servlet initialization or not? That config object will be written. Next one is public string get a servlet info method. Public string get servlet info method. Return some data, but we don't require the data. About the Tomcat engine, it has given some return statement. About the Tomcat engine, what exactly the Tomcat engine is available. In the case of Tomcat, we are getting that implementation here, but anyway, leave this not required for us. All right, so next after that, public void destroy method. Public void destroy. Inside this destroy method, what is going to be happen? The config is equal to null. Config is equal to null. When a reference variable is null, automatically the respective object is eligible for garbage collection or not. When a reference variable is null, automatically the respective object is eligible for garbage collection or not. Yes, eligible for what there? Garbage collection. Yes, sir. All of you are getting it or not? See, this is not only these methods, no, so many methods are available. So many methods are available. Understand it clearly, all of you know. Now we are discussing servlets, advanced Java. Inside the servlet, generic servlet is the content I am discussing there. Now understand this, how much core Java dependency is available on this particular topic. At the time of teaching core Java, I used to say important, please concentrate now. But people are having confidence. Core Java is already known by us, not required to understand this. Already we had some information. Now see this, how many concepts are coming there from core Java. That's why then fundamentally if you are strong, nothing about these concepts. Fundamentally if you are not strong, then definitely may not understand this concept properly. Even myself, I'm putting this much of time to explain this generic alert. In general, in advanced Java classes, trainers are going to complete this advanced Java theory just it's a matter of 2 minutes. Within 2 minutes, they're going to complete this generic servlet explanation. But the point is what there, Forget about it. How much time I'm spending to explain this topic there. But the point is, how much core Java is dependent here in this particular situation. That's what we should not neglect that core Java. I think then IOSIM's topic is covered here, especially method overriding topic is coming there, and whether overloading topic is available. Then apart from this, what next one you know? Then interface and implementation classes, the design pattern, interface and implementation classes, abstract classes concept is coming there. Then design pattern is also be coming there. See how many core Java concepts are covered here within a single generic select abstract class. So that's why then we must know core Java. Core Java is very, very important. Without having knowledge on core Java, attending for these advanced Java classes, this kind of problems we are able to get. Not only that, frequently I'm getting one question, frequently, very much frequently. Sir, is it possible to learn a Spring Boot just with the knowledge of core Java? Again, it's a blunder. Again, it's a blunder. Of course, in our company, Spring Boot directly they are using now. But the point is, if you want to work with Spring Boot, we should know Spring framework. If you want to work with the Spring framework, we should know advanced Java, JDBC, and servlets and JSPs and Hibernate, all the things we require. But if you want to work with advanced Java, then definitely core Java is required. The entire cycle we have to complete. Then only you're comfortable with the Spring Boot and microservices. Without having this much of knowledge, working with the Spring Boot project in a sense, of course, you may complete your project just by checking in Google or somewhere else. That's okay. But conceptually, you will not be strong in that area. But I'm trying to increase that confidence, that conceptual informations. That's the point here. What I'm giving there from my side now. Right. Anyway, now let's move on to the point here. Now this is exactly the meaning of like what there generic servlet abstract class. That information here we provide. Then after that, here what we have to do there, here we need to take our servlet class public class, say for example my servlet. Then what we have to write there, instead of implementing servlet interface, there we have to write what there public class my servlet extends what there generic servlet extends what there generic servlet. Inside this public class my servlet extends generic servlet. Inside this we must override only one method. What is that method here? Which method is abstract method in the generic servlet? No, service method. Here we must override what there service method. Public void service. Public void service of. Here we have to provide servlet request comma servlet response or response. Then here throws servlet exception comma IO exception semicolon, not semicolon. Here we have to open and close. We have to provide implementation parts here. Everybody understand this clearly what I've given there. Okay, next one. After this, here we have to provide implementation. Inside this we have to write some code. We have to write some instructions. That's it. Now this is exactly the meaning of like what there our servlet class. Now we are able to prepare servlet classes clearly. Now we are able to prepare generic servlet class. Let us prepare generic servlet now. All right, so now example here I want to take. Now try to understand this example. All of you guys observe carefully. Now tell me, you only tell me what exactly the process here we have to do to prepare these servlets now. Come on, same word process only. Whatever the process we have seen already in the first example, same word process here we have to do now. Now let's come for what there C drive. Insert the C drive. What we have to do? What we have to do? Go for this Tomcat 10.0. Inside this web apps. Inside this I have to prepare my application folder or not. Right click here and the new here I have to create like what there app. Come on, app 03. Now inside this what folder I have to create now? Web folder here I have to create web-inf. Okay, then what next one? Inside this web-inf what we have to create there? Classes here we have to create classes. That's okay, fine. Then after that we need to prepare like what there servlet class now. Let me open our editor, some editor here, edit plus or something else, whatever it may be. Now inside this, just what I am telling to you, let me prepare a Java file first. Java file. Okay, now how we are able to prepare the Java file now? First of all, let us provide the content here. First of all, we should import the packages or not. What packages here we have to import there? Import, come on, Jakarta dot servlet dot What next one? Star we have to provide. One more package is mandatory. What is that package now? Import java dot io dot star. All right. Now here, what I am telling to you, observe carefully. Public class, then we need to write the servlet class name. What is the servlet class name here? Just I want to write the, say for example, welcome servlet only. Again the same scenario. Welcome servlet, welcome servlet. Now this time what I have to write now? Is it implements the servlet interface or extends the generic servlet? Extends generic servlet. Extends generic servlet. That's it. Okay. Public class. Every servlet should be a public. Every servlet class must be public. Public class welcome servlet extends the generic servlet. Now inside this generic servlet, inside this welcome servlet, when we extend the generic servlet, one method is mandatory to implement. What is that method here? Public void. What we have to write there? Service. Now inside this servlet request comma servlet response, then what we have to provide there? Throws, then what next one here? Servlet exception comma IO exception. Servlet exception comma IO exception, that we provided, that we have to provide. That's it. So now tell me, when we are extending generic servlet, how many methods we must implement now? How many methods here we have to implement now? Alright, only one method when we are extending generic servlet. If we require anything extra, then we can override. That's okay. But that is optional, not mandatory. Alright, sir. Now inside this, what is the minimum responsibilities? No, minimum thing, response dodge. What we have to write there? Set a content type. Then what we have to write there? Response dot set a content type. Here we have to write what there? Text or HTML. Response dot set a content type text or HTML. Then after that, print writer, we have to write like what there? Out is equal to response dot get writer. Print writer out is equal to response dot get writer. After that, what we have to write there? Out dot println of, here just we have to write like some HTML tag, no? HTML kind of response I want to provide out dot println of, like what we have to provide there? Body. Then after that, out dot println of, here we have to provide like what there? H1. Now get H1 here we have to provide. Now here I need to provide some style. Style is equal to color colon red, that we want to provide. And then after that, out dot println of, now directly here I want to write some information there. What data here I want to write? No. All right, so now here I want to take align also. Align is equal to center. All right, so now here welcome to generic servlet. Welcome to generic servlet. That message here I want to provide. Then after that, out dot println of, like what we have to provide there, and h1 tag, that means like slash h1 tag. Now before this, just I want to like one hr tag, horizontal line. Then what next one here? Slash body tag, then slash html tag, that we have to provide. Okay, now this is my servlet. That's it. Not required to provide any other methods implementation. Now it seems that servlet class is very simple or not? Seems that servlet class is very simple or not to implement now. All right, so now it is come. Now let me save this. Where I have to save, sir? Now tell me. Come on, where I have to save now? .java file as per the point here. SRC. So that means the C drive. Inside the C drive, Tomcat 10.0. Inside this, web apps. Inside this, ABB03. Inside this, webinf. Inside this, classes. Actually, we have to save it under SRC folder. But anyway, we are not maintaining that SRC. We are not sending that dot class to that classes folder. It's somewhat risky. That's why I'm not doing that work. But what I want to there, in IDEs, I will do the same. In IDEs, I will do the same. But here I'm providing in the different way. Now here, I need to save with what there? Welcome servlet dot java. What we provided here? Welcome servlet dot java. Now save this one. We saved it. Welcome servlet dot java. We saved it. Clear. Completed. After that, after completion of this, now we need to compile this program or not? Now let me go with what their command prompt. Inside the command prompt, go to the location where we saved our servlet class. What is that location there? Now tell me. First of all, cd, right? Cd space tomcat. Then what next one here? No, web apps. Next one is what there? ABP03. Then what next one here? No, web NF. And what next one here? Classes. Right, so now here we have to use like what the Java C space welcome select dot Java. If I click on enter button, what will happen? What will happen? We are able to get errors or not? And nearly 8 number of errors here we are 8 or maybe 6 number of errors here we are getting there. Let's see this. Here also we see the errors now. 5 or 6 number of errors here we are getting. So what we have to do there now? What we have to do? We have to set a class path is equal to which we have to set class path here. Now tell me, just we have to copy that. From here we have to copy this. Alright, so now Tomcat 10.0 lib inside this lib. What is required here? Slash servlet API dot jar file. Just let me copy this. After this, on command prompt, paste it. Semicolon, enter button. Now again here we have to compile it. Java C space welcome servlet dot Java. Are getting any error here? No compilation error here we are getting. That's okay. Then what next one here? What we have to prepare now? What I have to prepare there? Servlet class is ready. Then what I have to prepare there? Web.xml file here we have to prepare. File new, others, XML. Okay. Now here, what we have to provide there now? Tell me web app tag slash web app. Inside this web app tag, what we have to provide? Come on. What we have to prepare there? Servlet tag slash servlet. Inside this servlet tag, what we have to provide there? Servlet name. Welcome servlet. This is like what there? Welcome servlet. Slash servlet name. Next one is what there? Servlet class. What is the servlet now? I have not used any package name. Directly class name here we have to write. Welcome servlet. Welcome servlet. Slash servlet class. Then after that, what we have to provide there? Servlet mapping. Servlet mapping. Inside this servlet mapping here, what we have to write there? Here servlet mapping. Now inside this here, what we have to prepare there? Servlet name. What is the servlet name here? We have to write there. Welcome servlet. Slash servlet name. Then after that, what we have to prepare there? URL pattern. URL pattern here I want to write like what there? Welcome. Slash URL pattern here we want to write. That's it. Overall servlet deployment descriptor is completed. Web.xml file is completed. Where we have to save this? C drive. Inside the C drive, Tomcat 10.0, web apps, ABP03, WebNF. Inside the WebNF we have to save this or not? With which name we have to save this? Web.xml. Web.xml. I want to check whether it is provided properly or not. Control B. Total data we are getting or not. So it's a proper. Alright, so now everything is ready. Then what next one there? What next one? Start the server. After preparing both, no, we need to start the server. To start the server, I have to go with what there? Bin. Inside this bin, what is available? Tomcat 10. Double click on it. Okay. Right, sir. Now here we can see this our deployment of our application there. Somewhere else here we can identify where we can see this. Now here we are getting like what there? Observe carefully up to this part here. Deploying web application directory ABP03. Deployment is completed or not? Our application is deployed or not? When our application is deployed, then what next one here? We have to open what? Browser, client browser. There we have to type that URL. What is that URL? http:// localhost colon 1010. Just I want to open Tomcat administration page. We are getting the Tomcat administration page. There we have to click on what there? Manager app. Then where we have to provide Durga is username. Password is also like what there? Durga. Now click on sign in. That's enough. Now here we are getting all the applications list. What is my application here now? ABB03. Click on it. There we have to provide like what there? Resource path. URL pattern. What is that URL pattern actually? Welcome. Welcome is in URL pattern. Click on enter button. Now here we are getting my required response. Welcome to generic servlet. This response here we are getting clearly. Right. Now this is exactly the meaning of our application there. Welcome servlet.java. Welcome servlet.java. Provide the implementation. Next one is like what the web.xml file. Web.xml file here we have to provide. Now here we are able to provide this XML content directly. Now here compilation process also here I want to provide there on command prompt. What I have done there on command prompt. That's it. Clear to all of you know. All right, sir. Then try to practice this example also. Don't copy and paste the content. Then try to compile the program. Try to write the program in your own way. Try to check that. So next onwards, I'm trying to introduce Eclipse IDE. Then I'm trying to use how to prepare servlets by using Eclipse IDE. IntelliJ IDEA is not possible immediately. At last few days, I'll use that IntelliJ IDEA trailer version I need to get. But before that, I have to use what there Eclipse IDE. So if I get confirmation about all of you doing example up to now, that means completing examples. So almost all 3 examples. If you're comfortable with the Tomcat server and Edit Plus and all, then immediately tomorrow onwards we are moving on to what there Eclipse IDE. Then development part will be very simple. If I use Eclipse IDE, it's a matter of writing 2 minutes of time to complete the servlets and executing servlets. Clear? But that we are going to see in Eclipse IDE, how we are going to use that Eclipse IDE. I will show that exactly content here now, right? That's all, guys. That's all for today. Then tomorrow I'll see that remaining part here. Take some break and come back for spring class. I'll take spring class now. Thank you. Thanks a lot. Due to mobiles high usage day by day, all the people are using mobiles apps only more for all the uses. Instead of web apps, slowly web links usage is decreasing. So after a few years, web applications will go down. So only mobile apps will become famous. So much technology support for mobile sizes, apps like downloadable app and web link. Charan Kumar, right? Let us get the situation there first. So mobile application development is getting very good demand. That you know, I know. But the point is what there. The servlets and JSPs are not for like what there. This particular mobile applications development, web applications only. But maybe then for mobile applications, then we have to go with some platforms. Then Android or maybe something else, iPhone technologies. There, we need to go for some other content. Yeah, Ritik. I think he is busy with maybe a product delivery in their company. I think so. Let me check once. Don't worry. What about video? Which video? Priyanka. What video there? I think previously one class video, recorded video. One class video. I think yesterday videos you are asking, no? Let me check once. Let me check once, no, with the admin people. They're uploading actually that videos. Let me check once with that admin video. Admin, then after that we will take care about it. Okay. If you're not receiving recording, then what is your question? I'm not getting there. Have not received any recorded videos or just you're reminding about that yesterday's video? Daily recording videos are received or not received? 14 and 15 videos are not uploaded. No, okay, that's okay. I'll talk with the people. Don't worry. Yeah, then uploaded, not uploaded. Then let me talk with them, or people will upload that. I thought of it is uploaded, but I'll check with my admin people. Don't worry. Okay. Priyanka, then if you are not receiving any videos there, already given some number to you, right? Our admin number. Try to WhatsApp your transaction slip to that admin to that number there. Then our people will give access to you, videos access. Daily recorded videos, no? 1 minute, 1 minute. Already one number I given there to you, not given here. What's the number? 73. 1 minute, Priyanka. Then I'm giving mobile number to you. try to take this mobile number and WhatsApp your pay slip to this mobile number. They'll provide that access link to you. 7386095600. That's it. Priyanka, then send your transaction to this WhatsApp to this number, or people will give immediately. Yeah, thank you. Thank you guys. Thanks a lot. Within a few minutes, I'll start Spring Framework.